In today's video, we're diving into a fascinating and often overlooked topic, the subconscious things that we do that could be making others ignore us without us even realizing it. We all want to form connections, build relationships, and create lasting impressions on people, whether it's in personal friendships, romantic relationships, or professional environments. But sometimes, despite our best efforts, we can unintentionally push people away or make them feel disconnected. You may think you're being charming, friendly, and approachable, but certain subconscious behaviors might be signaling the opposite. You might not even be aware of them, but they're affecting the way people perceive you. The good news is that once you become aware of these subtle signals, you can work to change them and drastically improve the way people respond to you. In today's video, I'll be sharing some of these subconscious habits that might be unknowingly causing others to ignore you. Stay tuned until the end, as I'll also be sharing some easy and actionable steps to overcome these tendencies and start building stronger, more genuine relationships. Let's jump right in. Number 1, avoiding eye contact. Eye contact is one of the most essential forms of communication. When you're speaking with someone, your eyes are often the first thing they notice. But when you avoid making eye contact or continuously look away while talking, it can create an unintended barrier. Avoiding eye contact sends the message that you're uninterested, insecure, or uncomfortable, even if that's not your intention. Think about the last time you tried to have a conversation with someone who wasn't making eye contact. It probably felt awkward, didn't it? You may have even wondered if they were paying attention or cared about what you were saying. This feeling of being ignored can carry over to how people perceive you as well. For example, if you're in a meeting or having a one-on-one conversation, but your gaze is always drifting to the side, or you're staring at the ground, it might create a subconscious feeling of distance. This can cause people to feel disconnected, and over time, they may stop engaging with you as much. Solution: to improve this, make a conscious effort to maintain natural eye contact when you speak or listen. It doesn't have to be an intense stare, just enough to let the other person know you're engaged and present. Make sure to break eye contact occasionally so it doesn't feel too intense, but aim to look the other person in the eyes for at least a few seconds during your conversation. Number 2, closed body language. Your body language plays a huge role in how others perceive you. We often communicate more with our bodies than with our words. If you're crossing your arms, slumping your shoulders, or turning your body away from someone, it sends an unconscious message that you're not open to the conversation or the relationship. These physical cues can make others feel like you're emotionally unavailable, which can cause them to ignore you, even if you're verbally saying all the right things. Imagine you're having a discussion with someone, and they're standing with their arms crossed and their back slightly turned. No matter how well they communicate with their words, the body language is saying, "I'm not interested." People can easily pick up on these cues, and they may subconsciously start to distance themselves from you. Solution: work on your posture. Keep your body open and facing the other person. Relax your arms, and avoid crossing them in a defensive manner. Keep your shoulders back, and make sure you're not physically retreating from the person you're talking to. Open body language invites connection and makes you seem more approachable, friendly, and engaged. Number 3, speaking too quietly or mumbling. We all have moments when we get nervous, shy, or uncertain. It's perfectly normal to feel this way sometimes. But if you tend to speak too quietly or mumble during conversations, it can have a huge impact on how people respond to you. When others can't hear you clearly, they might stop paying attention to what you're saying, or worse, assume that you lack confidence. If they have to ask you to repeat yourself multiple times, they may begin to disengage because it becomes more of an effort to communicate with you. Have you ever been in a group conversation where someone was speaking so softly that you had to strain to hear them? It's frustrating, right? That kind of experience makes people less likely to engage with you because it feels like a chore to listen to you. Solution: start practicing speaking louder and more clearly. You don't have to shout, but ensure that your voice is strong enough to carry across the room. You can also work on articulating your words more carefully to make sure your message is coming through. A good trick is to take a deep breath before speaking to control your voice's volume and clarity. When people hear you clearly, they'll be more inclined to pay attention and stay engaged. Number 4, being constantly distracted by your phone. In today's world, our phones are often our biggest distractions. Whether you're texting, checking social media, or scrolling through emails, constantly looking at your phone can make others feel like you're not truly engaged with them. In social settings, this is one of the quickest ways to make someone feel like they're not important. If you're always glancing at your phone, even in the middle of a conversation, it sends a message that your phone or other digital interactions are more important than the person you're talking to. Think about it. How would you feel if you were having a conversation with someone, and they were constantly checking their phone? It would probably make you feel ignored and undervalued, right? This subconscious signal is something many people may not realize they're sending. Solution: the next time you're with someone, put your phone away and focus on the conversation at hand. If you're expecting an important call or message, it's okay to excuse yourself for a moment. But in general, prioritize the person in front of you. This simple action can make people feel heard, valued, and respected, and they'll be more likely to connect with you in return. Number 5, talking too much about yourself. We all enjoy talking about our own experiences, but there's a fine line between sharing personal stories and dominating the conversation. If you're constantly talking about yourself and not leaving room for the other person to share, they might feel like you're not interested in them. People want to feel like their thoughts and opinions matter, so when you only talk about yourself, it can make them feel ignored and unimportant. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone monopolized the discussion, only talking about their own life, struggles, and achievements? It feels draining, doesn't it? This is a common subconscious behavior that can make people withdraw or avoid engaging with you altogether. Solution: shift the focus of the conversation to include the other person. Ask open-ended questions, show interest in their experiences, and actively listen when they talk. Share your thoughts, but ensure you're creating space for the other person to speak as well. Balanced conversations foster connection and mutual respect. Number 6, negative self-talk or complaining too much. Constantly complaining or talking negatively about yourself can create a toxic atmosphere that people subconsciously want to avoid. When you complain too much or put yourself down regularly, others might begin to feel like they have to either engage in the negativity or disengage entirely. It's draining for the people around you, and over time, they may stop interacting with you as much. For example, if you're always saying things like, "I'm terrible at this, I'll never be good enough," or "nothing ever goes right for me," it can make others uncomfortable or even feel like they have to try to fix your mindset. This can put a strain on your relationships. Solution: focus on shifting your mindset and practicing positive self-talk. Instead of constantly complaining, try framing challenges in a more solution-oriented way. Share your struggles, but also mention the steps you're taking to improve the situation. People will appreciate your resilience, and they'll be more inclined to support and engage with you. Number 7, not giving others enough space to speak. Another behavior that can cause people to feel ignored is interrupting them or not giving them the space to finish their thoughts. If you're constantly interrupting someone or talking over them, it suggests that you don't value what they have to say. It can also make them feel unheard and unimportant, which could lead to them withdrawing from the conversation or avoiding you in the future. Imagine you're sharing something personal, and the person you're talking to keeps cutting you off to talk about themselves. It can be frustrating, right? It's one of the easiest ways to unintentionally push someone away. Solution: practice active listening. Allow the other person to finish speaking before you respond, and make sure to acknowledge what they've said. When people feel like they've been heard, they're more likely to engage with you and build a deeper connection. Number 8, being overly defensive. Defensiveness can create a wall between you and others. If you're constantly defending yourself, even when someone isn't attacking you, it can make the conversation feel tense and uncomfortable. People may subconsciously avoid you because they don't want to engage in a confrontation, even if you're simply reacting to something that wasn't intended to be an attack. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone immediately goes on the defensive, even when they weren't being criticized? It makes communication feel stifled and stressful. Solution: when someone gives you feedback or disagrees with you, take a moment to pause before reacting. Instead of immediately defending yourself, listen to their perspective and respond calmly. Approach conversations with an open mind, and others will be more likely to engage with you in a positive way. So here is the key takeaway from this video. So there you have it, 8 subconscious habits that might be causing people to ignore you without you even realizing it. While these behaviors can seem small on the surface, they have a significant impact on how we connect with others. By becoming aware of them and taking simple steps to change, you can drastically improve your relationships and create deeper connections with the people around you. Remember, the key to building strong relationships is being present, attentive, and engaged with others. People want to feel valued and heard, so making an effort to communicate openly and with kindness will naturally lead to better interactions and stronger bonds. I hope this video has helped you identify some of the subconscious things you might be doing that could be holding you back. Try implementing these solutions, and let me know in the comments